time when 1978, when the economy was opened up, there was no proper measures taken to make sure that okay, we only import what's really need to be imported. So as a result of that, we became dependent. And as a
Yes.
marketing and sales professional, I know, no matter whatever that is given to your hand, you are supposed to sell it. So we keep on adding this thing called targets to the sales force, and they keep selling. And there is no end to it because you never be content with what you
Right.
get. If you get
Targets just
100,
increase.
yeah, just keep increasing. So basically, what it means is that we keep increasing consumption, and we call it growth. The GDP is what we use as the ultimate measure,
Mm.
which is basically the consumption of a nation. So
Right.
we are happy. The more we consume, the more happy we become, more happier we get. So I think that's the kind of mentality that we need to control at this point of time. For you need to be happy, you should not completely depend on consumption. You need to find avenues where you can do different things.
Mm.
Consumption is not the only way to be happy. I mean, as a Sri Lankan, I mean, you know, I know, and we all know that there are certain things that we could do, maybe at a very little cost. But the problem would be, like, for example, restricted traveling at this day and age because of the fuel crisis, etc., would be difficult. But we need to find little things which can keep us going. So I think you were talking of, the difficulty in getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
We need to have a reason. We need to have some kind of a motivating factor,
Purpose.
a purpose. So we need to give a purpose that okay, at least the fact that okay, I'm gonna come out of this. I'm gonna go through this. I'm going to face it all because we as humans we have bigger capacity to think than any other creature in the world. So we can always think okay, this is gonna be over at one point, and beyond that, what's gonna happen? So we can always look forward to that day that okay, it's all going to be over, and then what are we going to do? So in between, some people might decide, okay, I'm going to leave Sri Lanka and I'm going to go to ABCD countries. Some people might think, okay, I make use of this time to do, for example, certain people might think, okay, I make use of this time to do some educational things. I start my own business, maybe something that I can do online, something that I can do with my friends, etc., etc. So if you think about it, there'll be avenues that you can go on and things that you can work on. So I think that's how we should keep our spirits high, so that we make sure that we go through these difficult times, and we try to see that light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
yeah.
These things are over.
Right. So, do you think that it is what's currently being done is perhaps the right way to go about it? Because we see a lot of people still, they are in good spirits. They go to golf face, and you'll see a lot of people still in good spirits, which is a very rare thing. Historically, I don't think that's how we solved our problems. We took to the streets. Historically, and we demonstrated, we remonstrated in a much more physical sense. Do you think that perhaps a lot of the people over at Goldface share the same ideology as you? Try to see the brighter side, if you will.
That's a difficult question to answer, anyways. Uh, I really don't know how they
Yeah.
feel, but I will tell you one thing. When we need to print money to pay government salaries, for example, it's about 1,000 billion, which is 1 trillion.
Yeah.
There is no way out. The more we print money, the currency exchange rate is going to go up. So as a result of that, the dollar can go up.
Yeah.
And then when that goes up, the fuel price to various other things can go up. And when we had this issue, we used our people started using all these ways of getting things done. Like for example, if you are a manufacturer, you can't just stop your manufacturing plant and just wait it and wait. So people started bringing down material through undials and
Yeah,
hawala and all
yeah.
these ways. So that also because the dollar was held at one point at 198, then 203, the black market was 250, and now you see where it has gone. So our people always try to do things at that level because as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, you can't just sit and wait. So you try to find ways out. But as general public, I'll tell you what I did. I realized that certain people are really having a difficult time
Mm.
towards the April season. So we actually collected, me and my friends who are living abroad, we pooled money and we distributed food, essential items to people who are basically, I mean, I can't express the feeling because
Right.
it's such a great feeling. So I think at this point of time, what we need to do is that we need to help each other. We need to look at more than, for example, I can give away clothes, but people might not need food. So if you can, as youth of Sri Lanka, as the people who have things in their position, actually we can, if we can look at people who really need
Yeah.
things at this point of time, it's going to be really valuable and really value adding. And also adding to that, true that we need to fight for what we need to fight for, but when there is a constitution and there are certain things that happens in the way that it should happen, for example, change in certain people in certain positions can happen only after certain time, or maybe
Yeah.
after election,
Yeah.
something like that, and let the representatives in the parliament handle that, because that's why they are there.
Yeah.
If they can't do that, then that's going to be a problem. So I think we need to take care of our neighbors, we need to take care of our friends and family, and maybe the people who are underprivileged at this
Yeah.
point of time. I think that's the kind of spirit that we need to have,
Absolutely.
which doesn't mean that we should not fight for what we should fight for.
Mm.
But what I mean is, at this point of time, right at this point of time, we need to look at that, and also looking at the ways that we can actually increase the production of food in your mini little way. Do your home gardening,
Yeah.
do something where you can actually get some crop. That's going to be valued into the couple of months to come more than anything else.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have your own crops, wow, you're killing it. Sasha, you and I, we always talk about this. We always try to have good spirits and we try to put smiles on people's faces.
That's right.
But when you go right down to it, Mr. Pereira, when you go right down to when we're talking about, the man that's living on the lowest possible wage and, with the lowest income and in the most uninhabitable conditions, you can't really go up to them and say, you know what, just keep your smile on your face, you're gonna be okay. How would the person from from that sort of class or that sort of income class, if you will, what would they have to do?
For them, actually, what's going to happen in a situation like this is that the top end will remain to be in that same
Yeah.
end. The lower end will anyways be in the lower end.
Yeah.
The middle end, portion of the middle end will actually go below the average level,
Okay.
and they will basically be, mixing up with the
With
bottom
the lower
level.
end, yeah.
And the people who are in the bottom level, the basically they don't know what they're going to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of young guys, they are getting organized at this point of time to help these people. They're collecting things, they're collecting food. I mean, we still, I see people still go to hotels, which is good. They eat and they dine and they have good time. That's all
Yeah.
good, because it's your choice. But at the same time, if you can think about the others,
Yeah. The lower
who are less
yeah.
privileged.
Yeah.
Like you said, the people who don't know what they're going to eat for lunch today. I think that's something that we can do as a nation, and if we come up with something like that, we can actually get the support from our friends in overseas.
Right.
They
Yeah.
definitely help us. So because for us to fight also, we need to have a country, we need to have our people, we can't let them die.
Yeah.
And then we see like they're losing, because see, when you ask people to go demonstrate, if you have some kind of intelligence, you know how to handle it. But when you spread it up to a point where actually they can't really think on their own to take decisions, they don't know where the limits are. So we got to be careful that we need to safeguard everyone,
Yeah.
not just one tier of the society. So I think that's where we need to take care of everyone. So I think at this point of time, at least think of the small ones.
Right.
Those families, they also have kids, they also have babies, they need to be fed. They need food, they need milk, they need at least a
Yeah.
couple of meals a day. So that's where I think we should work. I mean,
Mm.
I see some institutions, some people working in that line. I guess I suppose all of us can do that, because as I said, it's going to come to an end, but we don't know when.
Yeah.
Say it's towards the end of this year. So until then, how are we going to manage?
Yeah.
How are we going to survive? And how are we going to make sure that the less privileged people are also going to go
yeah.
through this with us? I think that's the real fight.
Absolutely. So there you have it. I mean, it's all good and fancy. You can go to your hotels, you can go to your 5-star hotels, you can have your buffets and all of
You
that.
can party all you
Party all
want.
you want, whatever it is. It's your money, it's your choice. But spare a thought for the ones who are less privileged than you. Perhaps you could also spend some of that money on them. That's great advice, isn't it?
Very good advice.
All right. Well, we're going to get more wisdom coming from Mr. Perera as we go along. But right now, let's just get on to, some of the worst advice I've ever heard. This song is called Married in Vegas.
Yeah, actually, things like this are this is just small things, but it needs some kind of thinking. So I think we should all, I mean, as Sri Lankans,
Yeah.
we should give that credit to Professor Nalina Besekar, who was the marketing department head at the Open University Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is the vice chancellor. I'm sorry, the dean of the management faculty,
Okay.
Professor Nalina Besekar, and also the declaration was done by the vice chancellor of the Open University, Professor Tilakaratna.
Right.
And what's special about this declaration was that it's the same day that Professor Kotler, who's considered to be the father of modern marketing,
Mm-hmm.
it's his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
going to be his birthday tomorrow. His 91st birthday, if I'm
Mhm.
correct. So, probably, yeah. So basically, Sri Lankan Marketing Day was declared on his birthday. So I think it's fantastic.
That's
and-
poetic, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're actually,
Paying,
extending
you're
thank
paying
yous.
homage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way to show our gratitude, because all of us who have been at one point, we were students, we were learning marketing, and his book was the handbook for us, and even for corporates. Now I've been doing brand coaching for last 10 to 15 years, so I know there is no one that you can find without having gone through that book.
Okay.
So I think that's, in that sense, it's actually good for our country also. I'm sure that we are the first to do this. So as Sri Lankans, we can be happy about it, because I'm sure Professor Kotley is going to be happy about this
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make him aware. I hope I hope he's aware of this.
Yeah, he's aware, and he's going to join online.
Wow, fantastic.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
On his birthday as well, no less. But so, what does marketing day entail? Like, for the normal layman like myself or Sasha,
Yeah.
what
is
is
the
mark?
outcome?
Yeah.
Like?
So we've had marketing days, marketing conferences, etc. in Sri Lanka and outside, and we've been talking of marketing, branding, positioning, sales, customer care, etc., etc. And all these things, as I told you before, as I shared my little insights with you, we are not going to be finding an end. There's no end to this.
Mhm.
So it's going to be cumulative. But now the trend, especially Professor Kotler also is on this same of the same view, that we need to practice more sustainable marketing, and we need to look at the entire community. For example, we were talking of triple bottom line at one point. We said profit, and then people, and then planet, because organizations are making profits after profits after profits at the expense of maybe exploiting their people.
Yeah.
And then they thought, okay, we should take care of our people, because when people are happy, they're going to work more, and then it'll create more profits for the organization.
Yeah.
Which is also true. So they started looking after people,
Mhm.
and then they realized that, okay, the ozone layer got damaged, and likewise, there are a lot of natural disasters that was taking place. So they realized that if we don't take care of this environment, we will not have a place to live.
Right.
So we need to take care of our Earth, planet Earth, and then the planet came in. So triple bottom line was basically introduced in that sense.
Yeah.
But we have heard of CSR, to various other things introduced by the Western marketing gurus. They actually, the ulterior motive of all those things is just to promote sales, sell more.
Right.
But there is no real. I mean, even if you take sustainable energy, for example, say solar, there's a lifespan of solar panels, and what's going to happen after that? Are they all going to be biodegradable? The batteries that we use are going to be biodegradable? We don't know.
I
So
doubt that.
think
Yeah.
there has to be a movement that would create a real thing about this whole sustainability.
Right.
Sustainability has to be, I mean, we should look at the definition. Definition says that we consume today, that we will not, we will make sure that the next generations to come will also have the same equal opportunity to consume. So, but the problem is that if you take the material consumption in the world today, um, like it's more than 70% is consumed by the developed countries, and they don't have any natural resources in their possession. So they're taking it from countries like Sri Lanka to Africa to
Mm.
various other
Yeah.
countries. So there is a there's a problem there as well. And adding to that, the income distribution inequality. Income is getting distributed in such a way that
Yeah.
probably 50% goes to 20% of the people. Say in Sri Lankan
Yeah.
context,
Okay.
right? In the world, it's worse.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we need to address. I mean, marketing is about the happiness of the consumers, how we make consumers happy, how we deliver satisfaction, not how we deliver products and services. So I think marketing has to evolve and occupy a better place with a, as you said at the beginning, with a purpose.
Mm.
So I think we are trying to bring in that purpose in this conference also, because Professor Kotler specifically mentioned that he wants to talk about sustainable marketing,
Wow.
and we align in our thinking and our talks and our speeches also in the same line of thinking. I think that's going to be the way forward for us, as you can see now.
Yeah.
I mean, the day we don't have fuel, don't have gas,
Yeah.
we're just helpless. But we have so much of resources here inside this country,
Yeah.
and what have we done out of it?
Mm.
And we say that okay, everything is going to, nothing is permanent, so we don't need to do anything. We need to do, because of the things that were done by the ancient people in Sri Lanka. We are still selling them off, like all these pagodas to various other things,
Yeah.
like Sigiri or whatever.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
are still making money out of them. So, but if they thought the same way that we thinking now, let's not do much because we are going to die. Let's not exert ourselves.
Yeah.
Then there is nothing. So we should
There's-
actually do things for generations to come, and for them to feel happy about.
So-
Sustainable marketing. I like that. I've
Which
never
is
heard.
very good, yeah, which is something that we need at this current situation here in Sri Lanka.
Correct.
So, with the National Marketing Day, what is the impact it has on the economy in Sri Lanka?
Well,
Right
actually, one of the things is that if you take the Sri Lankan market now, if I'm just taking a little time from you, I hope it's okay by you.
Absolutely.
If you take Coca-Cola, it's not the best product in the
Yeah.
world, but it was launched somewhere back in 1886,
Yeah.
May 1886, probably,
No.
same one. And round about the same time, we launched a product in Sri Lanka called Elephant House,
Mm.
probably the ginger beer. See where Coca-Cola is and where EGB is. I'm not saying they have not done they have done a bad job. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I'm sorry that I had to mention the brands also.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Because without that, the story
Yeah.
is not
The
complete.
context. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is that why the West is rich and the East is poor is because West owns brands, and we are the manufacturers. We have the factories. So what I'm saying is that we should develop brands. We should look at developing brands, and we should own them, and then only we can actually develop Sri Lanka, because we've been supplying raw material, we've been supplying spices without any value addition, and that's where we need to now start thinking. Okay, we have the best cinnamon in the world, and we have king coconut. I think no other country has.
Yeah.
And there are so many other things that we have. We are not making any use of them.
In fact, we're losing these,
We
aren't
are
we?
losing these things.
Yeah.
And if you take graphite, we are just selling in bulk. 1 ton is about $150. But people who get hold of them, they make billions of dollars out
Yeah.
of it.
Out of
So what
that.
are we doing? And this is where I think we should all of us should think about these things, and we should work in creating this value to Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka has enough things. We are not a small country. We are a big country. Right? We are a big country. I hope you get the meaning.
Yeah, I
of
understand.
that.
Yeah.
So we need
We're
to have
rich.
big thinkers. We need to have people who love this country and the people.
Yeah.
If we have those two combinations coming in, I'm sure that we can do this. So the idea here is that the undergraduates who are learning marketing, we want them not just to learn how to develop a brand, how to sell. We've been doing it for so long. We want them to think, okay, how we brand. For example, brand in Sri Lanka. What is our brand? Some people say Ceylon, some people say Sri Lanka. When it comes to tea, it's Ceylon tea. When it comes to our airline, it's Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So we are confused in our markets, and we don't have a brand for our country.
Yeah.
So these are things that we need to address. We need to look at these things critically. We need to be self-critical, and we need to look at things in a more practical perspective. So I think that's the whole idea, that we need to bring in this practical perspective to people. True that we learn from books, but the books that we learn are from the West. And if we try to practice them as is here, it's not going to work.
Mm.
So we need to add a little flavor of Sri Lankanness
Yeah.
into it, and we need to see what our real problems are, and then only we should come up with solutions. And then only it can work. For example, I was here 5 years back representing local brand. We turned it around and we made it the number one brand in the category, simply by bringing in local flavor to it, not
Yeah.
by just practicing what's there in the Western market in world. No. So I think that's where we want to train, we want to align, we want to mold the next generation of marketers, and that's one of the main objectives of this. And for that, I should be thankful to all the marketing heads in the state universities. They are really supporting the professors and the doctors. They are really supporting. So because it was not easy for us to organize this
Mm.
in these difficult times, everyone is asking, why can't you just be doing nothing? But I thought, okay, instead of just being doing nothing, instead of just being there, we should do something. So I think I'm sorry I mentioned this brand is not available in Sri Lanka. It's English tea shop.
Yeah.
They came on board with us and they supported us on my request. So I'm really grateful to them as well. So yeah, it's a small thing, but I'm sure that it'll create a big impact, and I'm sure that it'll be lasting
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, so
Well-
now that there is a National Marketing Day for the years to come, we will actually be
Correct.
seeing a lot of new changes, especially in
Yeah.
the marketing sector.
I feel like Professor Kotler has got his hands full tomorrow.
Yes. So, gotta thank everybody who is involved in
Yeah.
bringing Sri Lanka to a good place now. You're working really hard, right? Not just you're not just giving out advice. You're showing them the path how to put Sri Lanka out there to brand our country. The resources that we have, rather than just wasting them, because
So-
we are a rich country.
Yeah, absolutely. So just one more thing to just to round things up, Mr. Pereira. Now, let's say somebody listening in right now, is suddenly develops an interest in. Hold on a minute, this gentleman is making a lot of sense. I want to be a part of this. How would they go about doing that?
Well, you can access it on social media, National Marketing Day,
Uh-huh.
and also we have a small one-page website just for the time being. It goes as Sri Lanka